Hi, and welcome to the Barkin' It podcast. I'm Nat, your host. This is normally an audio podcast, but for 4 short episodes, we're going to do a little bit of video. So if you've been with me for the last 2 episodes, thank you. Thank you for watching, and thank you all of those that you took the time to comment, because I've gotten so much feedback, and it's been really awesome to hear from you guys. I love getting feedback back, and I know you guys are watching me. So here's the 3rd video of the 4-part series that we're doing, and this is for the Plurk Podcaster Challenge that was hosted by Lois of Knitting's My Bag. It's been a really fun challenge, and I've gone by and watched all the other podcasters and their episodes, and I'm going to continue watching them till they do their finished objects podcast, which is really cool, and I'll probably watch them afterwards as well. So today we've got my finished objects, we've got some works in progress, and we've got a little announcement at the end. So let's just dive right in, because, let's just jump in. Okay, so for today, my first finished object is the Plurk Podcaster Challenge project. So what was the thing for the Podcasters Challenge was they picked a technique, which was cables, and they picked a pattern for each one of the podcasters that were involved in the challenge, and we had to knit it up and podcast about it during the podcaster challenge, which was from the 2nd of September to the 25th, which is tomorrow. So I finished this last weekend. I just haven't had a chance to sit down and record. So I wanted to record today while Miss Carmen is napping. So the pattern that was chosen for me was the cushion cover with cables by Drops, and it's a square pillow, and it had these cables running down, and there's a garter stitch edge, but I decided to make it round because I figured it would be nice for Carmen to have something to squish, but I realized that little Miss Abigail really likes this thing. So I just don't know if I want to give hand knits to Miss Abigail, because as soon as Jack gets a hold of it, it's over. So we'll see. But I have a really cute picture of her, of Miss Abigail, which is my golden retriever, and this pillow in the show notes page. So go check that out, because she's adorable. So as you can see, I knit it flat, and then I seamed it up. And before I seamed it, actually, I picked up stitches, and I decreased around to make a little circle. I probably should have done normal knit rows in between the decreases. So if I ever do this again, that's what I'm going to do, just to kind of give it a little more space. But I think it looks good, but that would just be what I would do next time. And I did it on this side too. And then I seamed it up, and I stuffed it with polyfill that my niece had. And it's really soft and squishy, and I think it came out nice. It's really cute. So it's made of eco wool. It's some leftover eco wool I have from my hemlock ring blanket, and it's nice. So this is my finished project from the Plurk Podcaster Challenge, and I'm excited to show it to you. I've already turned it in to the Plurk Podcaster Challenge group on Ravelry, which reminds me, now is your turn. So I've done my part, and I've podcasted, and I've knit my pillow. Now you have to go vote for me. So in the show notes, and on the Plurk Podcaster Challenge board on Ravelry, there is going to be a link. I'm going to put a link to the board into the thread that has all the finished objects from all the podcasters. Go over and vote. You don't have to vote for me. I understand if you don't, but vote for somebody. Just go and show that you watched one of the episodes, and that you wanted to vote for somebody, and whoever gets the most votes wins prizes. So go vote. Just show your love. Show your podcasting love. So this is my finished project, and I'm pretty excited about it. So that's that. The other finished project, I've been, as I've talked about in the video episodes, I signed up for the Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup. I am a Gryffindor. Go Gryffindor. And one of the class projects this term was to take Polyjuice Potion, is that what it is? Polyjuice Potion, and do something that you normally don't do. And one of the things that I normally don't do is crochet. I've done it before. I've knit small little dish coasters. I have them at work that I keep my coffee and my water on. I have a big one and a small one for each of the cups. And I feel really uncoordinated when I'm crocheting. So I figured that would be a perfect project to do for that class, and I tried. So the first one I did was I did some single crochet, and I just decided to grab some cotton yarn that I had in my stash and one of my crochet hooks and start practicing. Because I have so many dishcloths, but as you guys know, if you guys use dishcloths, after a while they get a little dingy and they need to be tossed. So I needed some more, and I figured what better way to practice my crocheting and get some dishcloths that I can replace the old ones in my kitchen. So I did a single crochet, and as you can tell, the needle, the hook I used was a little loose. I think, and this was my first one, so bear with me, but I think it came out really cute. So this was single crochet that I did, and I felt so weird holding the hook, and I'm like, I just feel like I'm doing it wrong, and I felt like my fingers weren't working with me. It was just so weird, but I'm just so used to knitting. So I went to my Weavers Guild meeting last weekend. They meet once a month during the year because we're off for summer, and we have a meeting once a month and then a spinning meetup once a month as well. The spinning meetup's the first weekend of the month, and the meeting, the general meeting, is the third weekend of the month. So I went. Little Miss Carmen hung out with her daddy, and I went and I asked the ladies, because I showed a couple of my finished project, and I told them about how I was crocheting, and I just feel like it's not, I'm thinking it, but my hands aren't doing what I want them to do, or I just don't feel right. And I had a bunch of people just show me how they hold their needle and how they hold their yarn, and I actually was doing it right. I just needed to get more comfortable with it. So they helped me kind of get more confident with this one, and one of my friends showed me the double crochet, so I decided to do a whole another one in double crochet. Again, the needle size I just think is a little big, but it's all I could find, and you know, I'm just practicing. So this is my second one. I feel like some of it's really tight, but it's loose because of the needle size. I don't know. I'm going to practice more and we'll see. But this is my second one, which is a double crochet. And if you can tell, I don't know if you can, this is smaller and this takes up more. So they're just different. If you're good at crochet, please explain to me anything, because I don't know that much. My sisters crochet, so I really should talk to them about it. But they have helped me a little bit, but not that much. Probably because I just haven't gone to them enough about it. So those are the first two I did. Then I was like, okay, well, that I turned in for one class, and I'm like, I'm having fun crocheting. So might as well knit up some more, because we have more, and I need more dishcloths. I have more yarn, I need more dishcloths. So I started with some single crochet, and I mixed in some double crochet, single crochet in there, and I just kind of came up with my own little pattern. And then from there, I kind of actually did it the right way and did single, double, single, double, single, double, single, double. But if you notice, how do I show this to you? If you notice, I kind of missed a stitch here, and it kind of decreased, and I didn't really mean to decrease, but I think they came out pretty good. It's my second time going into the crochet world. I really want to knit what I had talked about last episode. I want to knit the thing where it has the base and you put it's a toy, a toddler toy that has the base, and you put the rings on it. But I started and I just couldn't figure it out, and so I figured, let's knit some flat stuff, let's get started in the crocheting, and then we'll go and do an actual project. So these are my finished projects. I was able to turn 2 in one class and 2 in for another. So I actually turned in all 6 of my classes this term, this month of the term, which I feel really good about. So now I just need to get everything else done, which brings us to our works in progress. So for the House Cup, Quidditch started, and this year they're doing the Triwizard Tournament and a Yule Ball. If you want to learn more about it, you can go read in the Harry Potter House Cup. I'm not going to go into the details about it, but for the first task of the Triwizard Tournament, you had to do something that uses 150 yards of yarn. So I picked the Origami Falls cardigan, and I found on my bobbins when I was starting to spin for my stuff I'll talk about in a second, I found this leftover brown yarn from my cabled yarn that's the coat for Carmen, and it was kind of a fingering weight. So I figured, why not use this for the cowl? It's nice, it's been sitting for a while, it's really pretty. It's not super consistent, but that's okay. It's hand spun. So I cast on. It has been taking me forever. Forever, people. Normally lace projects don't take me too long because as long as the lace makes sense to me, I can go and just go. But it took me like just until this fourth repeat of the pattern, or fourth tier of the pattern, to really actually get going. All in here, I kept missing a yarn over, so I'd have to pick up a stitch the next round. I kept forgetting a decrease and having to rip back a whole row. I don't know what else I did. It was a mess. And you're supposed to knit this. We had to cast on sometime last weekend. I think it was last Saturday we could start casting on, and then it has to be done by midnight Pacific time tonight. I still have a whole 3, I think. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 2 more little sections to go before I start this picot edge on the other end. And I have about a little over 14 hours, and I have a child. So I don't know if this is going to get done. I'm going to try to knit on it as much as possible today. Little Mr. Kenny is not working today, so he is probably going to be able to help me a little so I can get some time, but I do want to, go to the park or something with her later. So we'll see if it gets done. I'm going to work my darndest to get this done because I want to do the next task. If you don't complete this one, you can't move on to do the next task, and there's 3 tasks, and that's a lot of points, so I want to finish. But I wanted to podcast more, so that's why you guys get me today, and I'm not knitting. So this is it. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's dark yarn, and it's kind of got a little cloudy out for a second, but it's got some nice yarn overs, and then there's some purl stitches and some knit stitches, and it kind of zigzags. It's a pretty little cowl. It takes about 145 yards of fingering weight. What I ended up doing is I added 2 rows down here so I could eat up those last 5 yards, so I can make sure it's 150 yards at the end. So it's a cowl. I think it's going to be a little tight, so I'm going to have to extra block it. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to super block it and pull it apart, but I think it's nice. And I did not realize how much I would love knitting with my hand spun. I knew I liked spinning, and I've knit small things with my hand spun, but lately because I'm on a fiber freeze or yarn freeze, I just have been having to knit from my hand spun, and I love it. I love it. If you haven't knit with hand spun, you need to get your hands on some hand spun and just try it. Especially if it's yours. If you have hand spun in your stash that you aren't knitting, you're just spinning, knit it. Knit it, because it's lovely. It's your hand spun. I made this yarn. I did it. I'm proud of myself. I did it. So this is the cowl. So that's my first work in progress. Oh, I forgot to tell you about my, oh, I guess this is a work in progress. So as I talked about last episode as well, for the house cup, I took on a very large owl, which is a 3-month project for the whole term, which is 3 months, and I'm doing a transfiguration owl of spinning up 1,500 yards of a sport worsted weight yarn for a cardigan. And I showed you my bobbins last time, but this time I actually have some yarn to show you. So this is the first one that I applied up. It came out really lovely. It's so smushy. So smushy. I love it. It's so smushy. But as you can tell, I have a little card, and I'll explain these cards in a second. But this just tells me the details of what the yardage and stuff. And so this is 151 yards. And then my second one I applied up is 170 yards. So this is 170 yards of more smushy yarn. And it's coming out pretty consistently. It's still, like I talked about, it's still super dirty. Like, I could just sit here all day and pick out veggie matter. But at this point, I'm not gonna worry about it. I pick it out when I see it. If I have a full sweater and I'm still picking out veggie matter, who cares? It also made me realize that if I buy another fleece, like I did the black one, it's going to be a coated fleece because there's too much veggie matter in this. I feel like I'm putting a lot of work in it, and there's going to be veggie matter, and I love it, and it's what I've got, so I'm going to use it, and I've already got 300 yards out of my 1,500, so I'm not going to stop anytime soon. But next time, I'm gonna put in some little more effort and make sure it's super clean. But it's coming out really nice, and the fiber spins so beautifully, and I just am having so much fun spinning it. I finished plying these two, and because of the cowl, I haven't had a chance to actually start spinning a new single. But these are the ones I have. I am like 2 skeins behind my goal, so as soon as I finish the cowl and another project I'm working on, I better spin because I have a lot of catching up to do. But I have 3 months, so I feel like I have time. I just need to make sure to keep up. But hey, 2 skeins ain't bad. So I wanted to talk to you about these little cards that I have. I got this idea from Jasmine from the Knitmore Girls. What she does is, I have a lot of fiber that I'm processing, and that doesn't really have a label on it. And so what I did with her guidance, I went and I ordered from Vistaprint. If you don't know Vistaprint just has a bunch of really cheap printing. And so I went ahead and got their design. So it was free, all free other than you had to pay for shipping. And I put in Original by Natalie. I'll take a picture of these and put it in the show notes because I doubt you can see this here. But it just says Original by Natalie. It has my website, barkingit.com. It has color name, has breed, weight, yardage, I said purchased from, and notes. So for this one, for this skein here, color name's white because I haven't dyed it and it's just white. It's a Cordell Merino cross. It's got 13 plus wraps per inch. I didn't want to weigh it. I used weight for the weight of the yarn. But if it's like a roving, I'll put 4 ounces or whatever it is. Yardage 170 yards. Purchased from Warren from Wisconsin. He was a sheep farmer that my father-in-law's ex-wife got me in contact with. And he sent me the big box of 24 pounds of fleece, 2 huge fleeces that were really, really dirty, but it was $4 a pound, so, you know, that's why I ended up having so much of it. And for my notes, I put 2-ply, and this is the second skein that was done for the owl. So for all my little projects and all the yarn and fiber that I dye or spin that it's not from an actual company or doesn't have a label, I put these little cards in. Even if it does have a label and I want to put my notes. I'll write a little card and put it in my Ziploc bag with my finished yarn and the label that came from the fiber company that I ordered it from, or the dyer that I got the fiber from. So it's a good idea. It's really cheap. I think it was like $5 to get. Let me show you this. I'm gonna have these forever. $5 for all these business cards. You can't beat that. And they're easy. You just click and you pull them out and you put them with your yarn or fiber, and there you go. So for now, I'm just shoving them in here because I have all these both in the Ziploc bag together. I just want to keep track of them. So that is my out progress. And I'll keep you up to date on these. So the last thing I had said that I was going to do is tell you an announcement. I was hoping to get Tiny Ant on the podcast this week, but our schedules just did not get together. And that's kind of why we're going to be doing our collaboration the way it is. So what we're going to do is, there's my phone ringing. I hope that you guys don't hear it. So I hope that you guys like this idea. I didn't want to bring video into my Barkin' It podcast because that's my audio. I want to be able to blabber on about anything I want and for a long time. And that's been going for so long. I want to keep it how it is. And I know I'm not a consistent podcaster, but that's just me. And I've never said I was consistent. So I hope you guys enjoy non-consistency, because that's what that podcast is always going to be. But what we're doing is me, Barkin' It, and Tiny Ant are going to do a collaboration video. It's not going to be a podcast per se, but it's kind of going to be a vlog. And we may just start on YouTube. We haven't really decided whether we're going to do a feed that goes to iTunes or not. We like the idea that you can put in annotations and keep everybody subscribing to YouTube, but we'll see. They're going to be 5 to 15 minute videos, and it's going to be me and her back and forth. Sometimes it's just going to be me, sometimes it's going to be her, sometimes it's going to be both of us. Depends on what works that week. And it's going to be mostly knitting content and spinning content and crafting content. She does jewelry design. She makes these really awesome jewelry out of hardware, computer hardware. And I'll put a link to her Etsy in the show notes so you can go check that out. And she does some designing of knitting projects as well. So we're going to talk about things that we like. She's going to be asking me questions, and I'm going to be answering some of the questions back and forth. So that's one of the things that we're going to be doing. My husband's calling me again, so I better wrap this up. But I will put in the show notes the link to where we're going to go. It's going to be Barkin' Ant for now. We couldn't really come up with a name. We might do a contest to come up with an actual final name for our channel. But for now, it's going to be Barkin' Ant, because that's all we could come up with. The first video will just be Jessie. She's already recorded it. We just have been pushing it back to launch it because I wanted to get these videos out, and she went on vacation and all this other stuff. So that should be going up hopefully next week, along with the pattern that I talked about in the first video episode. And then my video will come up on that the next week. So it's going to be probably one video a week, and this thread's still going to have one more video when I get the goodie bag from the podcaster challenge. I'm going to show you what I got and do a little bit of giveaway with that. So that's my announcement, guys. I better go call my husband back and see what he needs, because he's dropping off something at my friend's house. So I hope you enjoyed this video episode. I really enjoy hearing all your feedback, and I'm so glad you guys are enjoying it, and I do promise to keep it going just on that thing, and I hope you guys like Tiny Ant. She's awesome. And for those of you who can't wait for me to get back to audio, it's coming soon. I already have my show notes done. I just need to sit down and chat with you guys because I miss you. So I hope you guys are doing really well and have a great Saturday. And there he is again. I better wrap this up. So happy knitting, spinning, anything you do, do it with love. God bless.